morning.
Welcome. Good morning, Jew. How are you? What are you drinking?
Good morning to you too. I'm drinking a nut milk again. I'm really into this nut milk
It
later.
sounds kinky to me.
I know. Well, we know that I'm more into nut milk than you are. In fact, we're going to talk about this later in the show. I'm Katie Halper.
I'm Heather Gold in Oakland.
Back from the Mexico, where I took pictures of Jewish things like a store called Kaufman's, which sells eyeglasses. Great stories for Jew.
We do.
First is, what did Jesus Christ Christie say to offend the president of the Zionist Organization of America? Guess who may be Jewish? Hint, Hitler will be rolling in his grave if it's true. And for our third story, we look at why I, Katie Halper, am always right when it comes to penises. You'll save a lot of time if you remember that rule. A lot of time.
So name that Jew. This is a Jew who, not born in the U.S., is an enormous rock star. Huge. Maybe the biggest Jewish rock star in the country. Is very, in some ways, conservative.
Meatloaf?
Has made a ton of money. One of the richest, I think, rock guys is reality TV star. Into makeup, that ought to give it away.
Oh, the Kiss guy?
Yeah. Gene Simmons was born in Israel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Chaim Witz.
Shut up. Chaim is one name, and Witt is the last one?
Witz.
W-I-T-Z?
Yeah. Chaim Witz. He's
that
sold
means
over
life
100 million albums. He grew up very poor. His family emigrated to Jackson Heights in Queens. And he's Israeli, and he's very much identifies as Israeli. So his mother's a Holocaust survivor, and so was his uncle, and that was it. The rest of the family was gone. And
like killed in the Holocaust?
Yeah.
His mom and uncle were the only survivors? Wow.
That's right. And his dad's name was Ferry Witz, also Hungarian. And Gene Simmons, how about that?
I can't believe she's Jewish. This is actually a sad one. This woman actually passed this week. Peaches, the model and pop star. She was named Peaches by her father, Bob Geldof, the
Peaches
singer.
Honey Blossom Geldof.
Peaches Honey Blossom Geldof. And she died.
Peaches Geldof, turns out, was really into being Jewish. She died at 25. She died incredibly young.
25. It's so sad.
With two kids, babies.
They don't know how she died yet. Let's get to our first story of the week.
Yep.
So Sheldon Adelson, who is an 80-year-old, very sexy man, dyes his hair a lovely rich auburn color, is married to a nice Israeli woman from something called Mandatory Palestine or something, Compulsory Palestine. We'll look into that into a second. But he hosted the Republican Jewish Coalition's meeting at his hotel in Las Vegas. He's one of the biggest donors.
Yeah, he's famous for both owning the Venetian and maybe some other casinos, and for donating enormous sums.
Right. His man last year in 2012, last time, was Newt Gingrich.
Which
very nice.
He almost single-handedly funded.
So he has this Republican Jewish Coalition thing, and he announces that he's interested in thinking about who we should donate to for 2016 and what happens. But Chris Christie, Kasich from Ohio, Scott Walker from Wisconsin, and Jeb Bush was there too. They all go to the Sands Hotel,
right?
And they, try to appeal to Adelson.
They try and Jew it up.
But it's like they're trying really hard. I know that'd be amazing.
Of Mitt Romney trying to Jew it up. I mean, honestly,
although I don't think he was there, but not this time.
Mitt Romney trying to be like, I'm here to kibbutz with you.
Oh my God, that's interesting one. Chris Christie. Oh, he always putting his foot in his mouth. You know what he says? Said he loved Israel. He loved his recent trip there. He said it was the size of the state of New Jersey, and he loved his trip to Israel and, quote, the occupied territories. Now
that's
the
end of money from Sheldon Adelson.
Yeah, no Adelson money.
No Shadelson.
No Shadelson.
This, I mean, I know we're not supposed to go into our evaluation till later, but could anything be worse for the Jews, really?
Than the existence of Adelson? No, I don't think so.
I mean, there's such a huge generation gap in the Jewish community.
Yeah.
In the Jewish media, someone told me how many years ago, the average age of a reader of Jewish print media was like 75 or something.
Right.
And I think 50 is still considered the youth area of Jewish organizations. So what happens is a lot of the money and a lot of older institutions are held together by people in Sheldon Adelson's bracket. If you think the Republican Party is old, they're not as old as Jewish institutions are.
Well, it's interesting.
And so then they can be taken as representing every
Right, of course.
Jew. Okay, Hitler. So
Hitler.
What's the latest on Hitler? Hit me with it.
Hitler alert. Hitler alert. Hit me with the Hitler. Hitler hit. Hitler hit coming through.
Hitler's the other thing that holds the internet together. If you took the word Hitler out of the internet, all the little bits go.
Yeah, we have a meltdown.
Your screen turns to 1 and 0s. There's nothing left.
Hitler's lover, like Eva Braun, and wife for like 23 minutes or something.
How come the only people who get to have a lover are lesbians and fucking Hitler? No one else describes the person they have sex with as a lover. Sure. How come for Hitler it's a...
I think it's the haircut. The tie that binds.
It is something we have in common. What are the odds that there was a lot of loving going on?
It's disgusting. He was 23 years older than her. She was a photography assistant.
He was kind of a little Woody Allen-ish. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, a little bit. Actually, very sad. She was 17 when she fell in love with him. She was a photography assistant. And he was, 17 plus 23?
It's a Soon Yi story, but in Germany.
And maybe no models, spread eagle model photos.
Or maybe she's a photographer. Maybe she took them of him.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe it's spread eagle Hitler.
But lest ye think that Hitler was irresponsible, I would like you to know, this is very important to note, that he did investigate whether she was Jewish. She had her investigated, and they turned over every stone, and they couldn't find any Jewish heritage.
How else do you say, I love you?
I love you.
I mean, there was no mixed tape then. You had to do something.
There's a rumor that still goes on that Hitler is Jewish, and he may have been because his grandmother had an affair. Maybe. She was the house cleaner for a Jew. Maybe they had an affair.
His father was illegitimate, and nobody knows exactly who the father was. And one of the candidates was a Jewish family, the father of a Jewish family.
One of the candidates named that Hitler grandfather. So, but here's what's fascinating. I bet you didn't know this. Some historical trivia. In 1933, the London Daily Mirror published a picture of a gravestone in a Jewish cemetery in Bucharest.
Yeah.
And it was inscribed with some Hebrew characters and had the name Adolf Hitler on it. Okay?
Yeah.
Now it's known that couldn't have been his relative.
This is pre-Photoshop, yeah?
Pre-Photoshop, yeah. But listen to this. This picture freaked out Hitler sufficiently that he literally had a Nazi law drafted and this is actually kind of brilliant. He made the definition of Jewishness, of Judaism, to exclude himself and Jesus Christ. Why don't more anti-Semites think of that? You've got to explain Jesus Christ being a Jew. How does Hitler do it? He makes it a law. Jesus Christ, not a Jew. Hitler, not a Jew.
Honestly, I can't think of a more Jewish thing to do. And to think the way you're going to get around to reality is to make a law.
I will go to the legislature. Exactly.
I'll write it down. It'll be official. I'm saying so. It's over.
Here's what happened. They found a brush, and they did a test on the hair of the brush, and they found some hairs with mitochondria that come from an Ashkenazi gene. So they're not sure, but it's definitely possible.
Eva Braun either was somewhat Jewish or she brushed the hair of someone Jewish.
And then brushed her, right. She had
Eva Braun had, maybe she had a lady friend come over.
Yeah, or maybe she had Jew hair.
Projected fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, or not. Why would
I know. Wow. I like the way neither of us objected to the fact that you were having a fantasy involved in a Nazi lady.
Well, because we called her lover, and it put me in the lesbian frame of mind.
And our last story is very satisfying for me, of course, and this is why I'm saying that just as a rule of thumb, you want to, whenever discussing penises, just go with the Katie Halper interpretation.
Very satisfying.
A couple episodes,
I would imagine one might hope satisfying.
Well, not just the thing, but the story. A couple of episodes, Morning Jew fans will remember we had a little debate, took off on the YouTubes. All the fans were talking about it.
We had a lot of fans who were angry because this is a controversial topic. Circumcision comes up because in Scandinavian countries outlawing it, I think.
Hold on to your foreskins, ladies and gentlemen, because this is a bumpy ride.
Yeah.
Controversial topic. Basically, an Australian-American team of researchers conducted this experiment, and they proved that the benefits of circumcision outweigh the risks 100 to 1. That half of uncircumcised males will contract an adverse medical condition caused by their foreskin. And then, as with vaccination, circumcision of newborn boys should be part of public health policies.
So basically, you were just looking for more things to continually argue to me that
this presented itself to me like a loose foreskin flopped into my face.
That's how they come to you? They just show up in your face?
The newses.
They just show up in your face unannounced. They just bring themselves upon you.
Basically, I was not looking for foreskin-related news. I was not looking for circumcision news.
Some are born with foreskin. Others have foreskin thrust upon them.
You
don't have a penis. How can you say whether or not it makes sense? Would you want your penis cut?
Our argument was whether Jews started it for health reasons or religious reasons.
Definitely not for health reasons.
Definitely for health reasons.
No question.
If it's unhealthy now, it was but why?
We're projecting our current stuff into the past. Ritual does not happen for health reasons. It happens for ritualistic reasons.
I don't think you can say that about everything.
I would expect nothing in religion to make other sense other than religious sense. It's not going to make some kind of scientific sense. It's not about science. It's about religion.
Except it just makes sense that in those days it was definitely healthier to have a circumcised penis.
In those days, it was healthier not to have slaves, but they did. I mean, there's lots of stuff that's not healthy that they're doing.
I think the onus is on people who say it wasn't a health thing.
And do you think all the anointing with oil was for health reasons?
I don't know. I think it's an evolutionary thing. I'm not saying Jews are incapable of having stupid religious things that come out of their asses, but I think when something has a health benefit,
or something other than their asses, if you know what we're saying.
You know what I mean. When something has a health benefit, I think that you have to at least consider the fact that it comes from that. And then they made up a religious thing around it. Yeah, but they don't dress up that way. Like, that's not how you present something. You have to make it sound special. You can't just be like, listen, you're going to get a bunch of bacteria and it's going to be ugly.
Because you're working in reversal. You're working from a modern, secular, post-Enlightenment idea backwards to some kind of...
People knew about, like, you don't have to be enlightened to observe that bacteria gets into the penis, it'll get infected. Oh, if we cut this thing off, it won't be. And we'll have to agree to disagree about many penis things, including circumcision. I'm going to keep looking for it, though. I'm going to find it, like the hidden part of a non-circumcised penis. I'm going to push back the lies to expose the truth.
It's interesting how Jews are always being threatened with being secretive when, in fact, circumcision puts everything right out there in front. Does it not?
Takes some away, the Lord give it, the Lord take it away.
There's nothing hiding.
Wrap it up. Speaking of abomination, it would be an abomination to not deliver our verdict. So
our Shonda of the week is Sheldon Adelson for fulfilling every evil Mr. Burns stereotype of a Jewish villain.
So we have the bad for the Jews, Sheldon Adelson, definitely bad for the Jews. The Eva Braun, is that good for the Jews or bad for the Jews?
The Eva Braun is Jewish. Is that good for the Jews?
If she is Jewish, that's a bad thing. We don't want her associated with us.
Could you be a more self-hating Jew? Could you be...
She may not have known, though. That's the other thing.
That she was Jewish?
Yeah, because a lot of them converted a long time ago to Catholicism. Either way, self-loathing, not good. Ignorant, she's still a Nazi. Hitler fan, Hitler lover. We don't like those. Hitler lovers can go home, as far as I'm concerned. Go back to the underground bunker. Where they belong.
Well, I wonder.
Maybe good for the Jews in suggesting that Jews come in all different shapes and colors and racial hatreds.
I mean, Jews aren't going to be all perfect. Some of them be for some reason. Maybe it's just time. She seems less scary to me than Sheldon Adelson. I mean, Hitler was really much more scary than Eva Braun.
Yeah, what did she do? Took some photographs.
She would be like the ultimate Uncle Tom, right?
What's our third story? Oh, circumcision. I'm going to say, well, we don't agree on the verdict. So either way, I would say it's not. I'd say it's a draw for the Jews. I don't know what you're going to say.
Well, I mean, this particular study, I guess I'm in favor of studies, but I still think circumcision's not great for us. We're looking for guests and your news stories,
And if you guys have any live events you'd like live tweeted, let us know.
If you want Morning Jew to keep coming to you and to keep having guests, there's a cost to doing it. So please support us if you want to. You can go to the site Patreon and you can back us, and backers will get access to some exclusive content and our undying thanks. And if you want to sponsor the show, that's the way you can do it too.
Be a proud Jew. Because this news that we're sharing with you isn't going to pop into your face like a foreskin forever.
Like an uncircumcised penis. Circumcision story is just a gift that never stops giving.
Hey, we will see you next week. On that note of up note, positive note.
I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.